Welcome to She Chose Joy with Melanie, where we discuss all things love, freedom, wellness, and joy. I'm your host, Melanie Foote-Davis, also known as the Soul Whisperer. Today's guest we're just going to have some fun today with our guest today. She's always somebody who just cracks me up. I'm just going to tell you a few things about her. She's Nicole Roberson-King, and she's an occupational therapist of 12 years. She has a master's degree in occupational therapy, and she specializes in pediatrics, where she works with children who have a variety of disease diagnoses, including but not limited to autism, cerebral palsy, and developmental delay. She's often referred to as the child whisperer. She's the mother of two beautiful kids, Camren and Cassidy, and trust me, they are a complete joy. And she's the sister of an adult who has special needs. One of the things about Nicole that, I mentioned she cracks me up, but she also has a love for home design. And she has a way of creating beautiful spaces where you feel really welcome. Whenever I visited her home, you immediately walk in feeling like a sense of peace and a sense of, I don't even know how to explain it, but you just feel warm and inviting. So Nicole enjoys spiritual podcasts. She enjoys reading, journaling, and she also enjoys working out, especially boxing. So I won't keep you. Let's dive in. Nicole.
Wow. Thank you for that warm welcome. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here, and I am super proud of you. Let me just say that.
Well, thank you.
You are blazing the trail.
I am receiving all of that. All of that. And there was a time when someone would give me a compliment, and then I would respond with a compliment. Right? And now I just practice receiving it. Thank you. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think we've had that conversation before. I say thank you.
Yes,
and I just receive it.
times.
Yeah. So let's have some fun today. Just playing around with this whole concept of letting things go, like just letting yourself off the hook about some things. Right?
Yeah, I think it's super important.
Yeah, before we get into that, what are you excited about today? Didn't you have something happening this week in your life? Or it was last week in your life? That was an accomplishment?
Yeah, my son graduated from 8th grade and wrapped up his school year. My daughter just finished her school year. She's going into the 5th grade. So that was exciting and amazing. First of all, I can't believe I'm old enough to even have anybody in the 8th grade. So I had to deal with that. But that was something I had to have a talk with the Lord about. But it was super exciting and super proud of him. So he's transitioning into high school.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting phase, but such an amazing young man from my experience with him. And so what if you're old enough? What if you're old enough?
Right. Yeah. They don't, the kids don't make it any better because they counting the years too. Mom, that's not your age. You're really this old. Like, what? They are.
It's funny too, because when you're younger, everything is old to you. Like if you're 14, then 30 is old.
Mm-hmm. Man, yeah. Yeah, and you can't even imagine, yeah, life once you turn 30 at 14 or 15.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
remember when I was working in the school system, and it was always interesting to hear the kids' perspective on old. So I wasn't going to dare ask them how old they thought I was.
Right. Don't want to know. Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you.
not extending an invitation for them to see me as ancient. That wasn't going to happen.
I understand that because children, oh my goodness, they say exactly what's on their mind, no filter or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, because like sometimes when I would ask them something and they would say, I'm asking them to describe something. Um, and when they would describe the person, they would say old. I said, well, how old is old? They're like 25, 26. I was like, ooh, okay.
Right? Exactly. Like, are you kidding me? That's super
Yeah. And I'm
young.
sitting,
You're
right. I'm like,
vibrant.
I have children older than
You got
that.
your whole life ahead of you. Yeah. Oh boy.
So funny, so funny. It's like when we were younger, I know it's like we were always looking forward to our next age. We couldn't wait to be 13. Then we couldn't wait to be 16.
Mhm. 16, yeah,
Right.
that's the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Then 18 and 21, those are the big ages.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you hit 30 and you're like, when was 21 again?
Right. Right. Why didn't I lean into that a little bit
Yeah,
more?
yeah. I could have spent a little more time hanging out in that space, enjoying those moments, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly,
And so when
exactly.
you think about that, and we're thinking about like letting ourselves off the hook, like the things we let go of, what are some of the things that maybe used to stand in your way when you were in your 20s? Or let me not to assume that you're more than, you're over 21.
Thank you. Absolutely. Because I'm not. Thank you. You're
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Thank you. Yeah.
Exactly.
What are some of the things like at 21 that may have stood in your way that you no longer hold on to? Like you just like, you know what? I'm letting myself off the hook for this one.
Oh boy, I was so young. Holy cow. So young, but at that time I felt like I kind of knew everything, even though I didn't know one thing. I thought I knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I I think I would let myself off the hook for having it all figured out.
Mm,
Because at 21, I thought I had to have, like, this master plan, everything figured out, know how I want my life to unfold. And that is just so
mm-hmm.
unrealistic. So I would definitely let myself off the hook from having it all figured
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I had to let myself off the hook for that one too. Like not wanting to move forward until I had all the answers on what was next and what was next and what was after that,
Yes,
right? And then I learned
yes.
that whenever I get a divine download, like whenever I get this little wink from God or something, it never comes with a full 10-point plan. It just really typically gives me one thing to do at a time.
Yep. At a
One thing.
time. Yes. Yes. Yes, that is so true. We've got this little checklist that we carry, and this has to be in order, and boom, boom, boom. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, that is so not how it goes, and it creates anxiety, when it doesn't I'm sorry, when it doesn't unfold the way in which you think it
Mm-hmm.
should. No, I would absolutely let that go
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, I know. I feel you on that one. You know what else I let myself off the hook for? Apologizing and explaining my choices.
Hmm. How
Yeah,
about
it's
it?
like if the answer is no, we don't have to say, well, I'm not able to do it now because, or the reason why I'm doing this is, I even heard myself the other day. I was getting ready to share something with my daughter, and I caught myself with what I was getting ready to say, right? And I want to share with you, just for
Mm-hmm.
the sake of, putting it in some context, what I stopped myself from saying was, this may sound weird, but before I shared how I was feeling about something. And it's like, in a
Mm-hmm.
sense, that
Mm-hmm.
like this may sound weird, but it's like preparing somebody for something that may be awkward or what have you. And so that's already preparing myself to explain or apologize in a sense for what I was feeling. And so I
Yes.
stopped myself and I
Yep.
shared with
Yep.
her, like, I've just realized that I've said this way too many times in my life, that this might sound weird, but, and then say it. Like, there is no but. If it sounds weird, that's on the person on the receiving end, because it feels totally at home for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I'm
Yeah.
sharing how I feel about something, you know?
So very, very true. Yeah, it's so true.
Right.
So very, very true. We're always apologizing
Mm-hmm.
for things, and it's like, no, this is how I
Mm-hmm.
feel, and why should I apologize
And
for
and
that?
I see it like women, we do it even more. I hear us doing it more than I hear the men in my life doing it. So I don't have any statistics to say for sure that women do it more, but just based on my
Mm-hmm.
experience, I hear more women apologizing
Mm-hmm.
or explaining something that they decided to do. Um, which ties into people pleasing or waiting for somebody to understand or give us their permission to go ahead and do something we've already decided we want anyway. And so I'm done with that. And so if you ever hear me even beginning to say, well, this may sound weird, but, or, well, the reason why I need to, just stop me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Your turn. Boom.
Yeah. I think I I'm definitely going to let myself off the hook for choosing to just relax on the couch one day, not to do a thing, not to get dressed, not to complete anything on the to-do list, but to binge watch Chicago PD. I'm going to let myself off the hook. I'm just going to do it, and not feel bad about it, because oftentimes we want a rest break. We want to take a day to ourselves to
Mm-hmm.
just relax. And then it comes with this large amount of guilt. I could be doing this. I should probably do that. I could be working on this. I could get that done. I'm just kind of wasting my time. When it's like, no, it's not a waste of time. You're
Mm-hmm.
recharging and
Mm-hmm.
regrouping, and it's
Totally.
okay.
Totally okay. Like, why can't the show was
Mhm.
meant to be watched by somebody? Why not you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, world, do I have
Yeah.
permission to watch Chicago PD?
Yeah. One episode after the
Oh,
other, or whatever
mm-hmm.
show it is that you determine, that you want to sit and
Yeah.
do or read or whatever, you know, just letting yourself off the hook from always having something to do.
Mm-hmm. And another thing is like, I am letting myself off the hook for feeling responsible for being all things to all people, or even
Hmm.
figuring out what they need. It's like, hey, I'm here, I care,
Yes.
but I am counting on you to express. I'm counting on you to communicate to me what it is that you need. Because like me
Yeah.
assuming that I know what you want, or getting cryptic messages that I'm supposed to read between the lines.
Right. Right. And then you've read in between the lines something that wasn't even
Right.
there. Hmm.
Yeah. And then it's like, or I read it correctly, but they weren't able ready to receive it, and then I'm frustrated. And so it's like, here,
That
yeah,
too. Yep, that
it's like
too.
you have the ability to communicate. So whatever it is you need from me, I am going to hold you in a space of like, we are creative, resourceful, and whole, and we come here that way. And so with holding that space and seeing you as powerful and creative and resourceful and whole, then that means you have the necessary things already within you to
Mm-hmm.
ask for what you want and what you need, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. But if you don't want me to disappoint you, which, I can't guarantee won't
Right.
happen, but the best way is for you to be real clear about what it is you're asking of me.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. And yes. Absolutely. Really, really, really. Especially if I have told you, specifically, I am here. Tell me how you want me to support you or what you need from
Mm-hmm.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
true.
that's the funny thing, like with text messages, for example, right? Like, I love gifts, right? And they probably should have never showed me how to use them. And now that I have that Animoji feature, I am just like, I just have way too much fun with Animojis. But anyway, back to the gift. Sometimes I've received a gift in my text, like a text with a gift, right? But it doesn't come with any context.
Mm.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Hmm.
What am I supposed to do with that?
Hmm.
Especially if
Exactly.
I ask you, so because it could mean like the same gift can be used in so many different ways. Dep-
Yeah. So you're left to your own
right.
interpretation of
Especially
it.
if we
Yeah.
have if it's not a response to a conversation we're already having, then that's different, right? But if it just
Right.
comes and
Right.
we haven't had a conversation, what the heck am I supposed to do with this?
Oh, it's very random. I don't know where this conversation even came. Like, are you initiating what is
Yeah,
this?
like
Yeah, that's very frustrating.
yeah, like let me just channel my psychic powers and feel into what this
Right,
means.
right.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah,
Oh,
uh,
wow, boy, that's a
I,
funny one.
hmm
Absolutely.
yeah, things may be figure outable, and I know that's not a word, but it is today. And
Mhm.
but I'm not in the mood for figuring it out right now. Help me.
Right. Right. Like, give me a break. Open the conversation with some words to communicate what you're thinking and feeling. And then maybe in the middle of the conversation, you could give me that.
Yeah,
But
can
randomly,
we?
no.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
hmm your turn.
Okay. I am definitely letting myself off the hook from having the laundry folded every single time that I wash clothes. It may sit 2, 3, 7 days. I don't know. Depends on how my spirit feels. But at least the clothes have been washed and dried. And I'm no longer going to, hold myself to that. Oh boy, it's washed dry. I got to get them folded, get them in the drawer, and have it all done. No, I got them washed. I got them dried.
hmm
Good.
You said depending on how your spirit feels.
Because sometimes the spirit will say do it, and then I'll do it, and the spirit will say don't do it till next week, and then you have to respect that and then do it the following week.
So that's what you heard. That's what you heard the spirit say.
Spirit say it can wait, and you go, oh yeah, you're right, you're absolutely right. Why would I ever go against you? And then it waits 7 days. And then you look up and it's like, oh, it's laundry time again, and the clothes never made it to the drawer.
But
Oh
here's
boy.
the thing: the key point is they're clean, so they're ready. They're
They
ready, right?
clean. They are
hmm
clean, and there is a location for them. You can go to the spot and get them and everything. They're just like not full.
hmm Yeah, who made up that rule they had to be done all the same day? I remember,
I
I
know.
laundry is not one of my favorite things to do at all. Although I will say
Mm-mm.
I enjoy folding. I enjoy folding
Okay.
laundry. It's like just like the repetition and the movement and everything. It kind of like just quiets my mind. So it's really a calming activity for me. But the washing and the drying of it and all of that and ironing clothes, those are not my jam. Not at all. And I remember when
Mm.
we used to go to the laundromat growing up and on Saturdays, and I just could not stand it. And I think I secretly promised myself that I was not doing laundry on Saturdays when I became an adult. Like that was not going to be my laundry day. Yeah, it's like trying to do
Right.
laundry all day, then had to get home in time to try to catch Soul Train. like like that should have been the priority for the day, seeing Soul Train, not laundry.
Not
Not
laundry.
laundry.
Yeah, really. And we stress ourselves out about these things. Sometimes it's pressure from other
Mm-hmm.
people. We're just going to be really
Mm-hmm.
real about it. Sometimes it's pressure from other people to get
Mm-hmm.
it done. But most of the times it's pressure we've put on
Mm-hmm.
ourselves to have these minute things completed, done, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really like, chill. It's not that serious. It'll be all right. If it's a busy week, it's a busy week.
Mm-hmm.
At least the clothes got
Yep,
washed. It's
that's
okay.
right. You need those clean unmentionables. They're ready and waiting for you. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Now, be my guest if you like to fold them. Hey, do
I
your
like
thing.
folding them.
But I've done my part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So, I mean, I get it. It does feel better when it's all done, but who says it has to be done today?
hmm
I get it.
hmm
I get
But getting it to that stage is like, oh goodness.
it.
Goodness. 'Cause it takes a while. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now your
My
turn.
turn. Let's see. Let's see. Um, that false sense of certainty. Like
Mm.
I keep hearing and seeing all these emails about we living in uncertain times. We always have been. It was never certain before. We just like to believe that it
Yeah,
was, right? Because we had gotten conditioned to certain things we expected to happen. And for a long period of time, it was showing up that way. But we really were never really certain of what the next day was going to bring. And
absolutely.
so, like, just this is just a reminder to accept that there are some things that we're just always in uncertainty as well. I take that back. Not totally, because there are times when my intuition tells me to do something, and that's something I know for sure, right? That's
Mm.
a what I know for sure moment, that this is what I'm being led to do. And apparently that's what you were feeling when the spirit told you to put the clothes away next week. I don't know. Maybe you felt
That's
certain
right.
about
That's right.
But
That's
yeah,
right.
like this whole need of being in control and being certain before doing something or whatever, just letting it go. Like I'm letting myself off the hook for all of that. Like let me
hmm
just trust where I am in this moment and trust where I'm being led in that next space. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a really, really, really good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think um I would let myself off the hook from cooking dinner every single day.
Oh, that was never on the hook for that one.
Breakfast.
I was never on
Cause
that hook.
you get to like you know you, I don't feel that pressure so much anymore as much as I used to um years ago. I've let a lot of things go today that I'm just like, it'll be all right. But several years ago when I was in a different headspace, like things like that and taking a rest break and stuff like that will bother me. Like, oh, I didn't cook dinner for, 2 days and, I need to really cook. And, now I'm like, listen, son, you're able to cook,
Mm-hmm.
go in the kitchen and be great. And it's okay. I don't have to do this every day, and the world won't come to an end. You will be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you feel like you let yourself off the hook because your kids are older and more self-sufficient or something else? Or that and
I
something
think,
else, I should say.
yeah, it's a little bit of that. And it's that need for things to always be perfect and orderly and done, and, laundry done, dinner cooked type thing. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Both the fact that he's getting older now and I'm teaching him independent life skills and, how to prepare his own meals and things like that, as well as some other house stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the idea of me needing to have control.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has to be orderly, done, perfect, checked off the list type thing. And it's like, no, life will go on if I don't cook today. If we eat a salad, if I pick up a salad, or if my son, he likes to cook. So, if he makes some chicken or something like that.
So let me ask you about that, right? So now that they're doing some things, are you okay with them doing it their own way, or are you behind them going, no, that's not how it's done? Like, do you give them that room to kind of?
Oh no, I give him room to be creative. If anything, I will say to him, watch how much seasoning and
Mm-hmm.
things like that you're using so you're not over salting the food. But I back up and I let him do
All
his
right
thing.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually if he runs into, he gets in a jam, he'll ask a question or he'll YouTube it and try to figure it out from there.
Excuse me, Mr. YouTube cooking channel.
Yeah.
He not playing, huh?
He made some French toast that was so good. I was like, wow, he YouTubed it, figured out what he needed, and he made the best French toast ever. I was like, okay,
Ooh,
there you go.
ooh, ooh, ooh. Let
And
Cam
I
know
had
that I
nothing to
like
do with
that I like French toast. I don't eat it
that.
often, but it's one of the things I really enjoy. Breakfast is my favorite meal.
Hmm.
Meal of the day. Yeah.
That's something you have to have a taste for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he can whip up a batch of French toast for me. I'll be more than happy to have some.
Yeah, I just back up, do your thing, be creative, just watch how much, salt or whatever
Mm-hmm.
you're putting on. But that's it.
Yep. You got any more things you want to let yourself off the hook for?
Oh man. I think that's it. I think the biggest one for me though was just having it all figured out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that was my biggest thing. I needed this master plan and I had to stick with this plan and, couldn't sway from this plan. And boy, is that unnecessary
Yeah.
pressure.
I have
Hmm.
two big ones. Well, a lot of them are big for me, actually, in terms of the way they impacted my life. But one is letting go of everything having to be done perfectly because it's subjective and perfect according to whom. So,
Hmm.
even this
Hmm.
podcast, it's perfectly imperfect. And you know what? I'm okay with that. It's a work in progress, and we're just going to grow our wings as we fly, right? So I'm letting myself off the
Absolutely.
hook from doing things perfectly before taking action or stepping into it. And one that really, really, really made a big difference for me was last year. And I'm actually going to probably do a separate piece on this. Not even probably, I am. And that is, I spent last year's birthday, I spent the day forgiving myself, right? And I journaled a lot because my heart was just heavy and I needed a release. And so I was journaling about all the things I wanted to forgive myself for and forgive other people for. But my biggest piece was me on forgiving myself. And I made a
Mm.
decision that day. This was the big kahuna for me on that day. Was I made a decision that I was not going to wait for um, other people to forgive me for how I had disappointed, hurt, or whatever them before I forgive myself for that same transgression.
Wow.
Because that's what I realized I was doing. It was like I hadn't given myself permission to let myself off the hook because I wanted to make sure that the other person was good with where we are. And at the end of the
Right.
day, that was giving other people way too much power over my life. way too much power.
Absolutely.
And I was being held hostage in pain, and talking about joy, I could not access it from there. Like, you can't get there from there. You can't get the joy from
No,
that
you
place.
can't.
And so that was like the biggest aha moment, and one of the most beautiful birthday gifts I could give to myself was to let myself off the hook for that. Because at the end of the day, we've all disappointed someone. We've all hurt someone. Like, just like we've been
Yes.
disappointed and hurt and all those things. And many times it wasn't even intentional, but it doesn't mean it doesn't
No,
happen. And so if
exactly.
we're holding on to it with other people, it's like really looking at how are we holding on to it for ourselves. So that's my big, like, get off the hook. Like just jump off the hook, leap off the hook, fly
Mm-hmm.
off the hook
Mm-hmm. For that.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Imagine how heavy that must be, waiting on the other person to give you permission to forgive. You know what I
Listen,
mean? To
I don't
forgive
have to
yourself.
imagine. I know how heavy it was. I was I was
Yeah.
there, and it
The
was
weight of that.
heavy.
Yeah. That must be an enormous amount
Yeah.
to have to carry
Mm-hmm.
around, because it may, and it just as you said, it may or may not happen.
Mm-mm.
They may or may not give you permission to move forward. So you've got to figure out how you can do
Yeah,
that.
it was important for my
Mhm.
own well-being so that I could free up space in my life to get on with my journey and do the work that I was supposed to do.
Absolutely.
And nobody gets to hold me hostage in my own life unless I give them permission to. And so I took that back. Like, nope, you don't get this. Like, yes, what
That
I
is so,
did was disappointing, and yes,
that's
I'm sorry,
crazy.
but you don't get to hold that and dangle that
Right.
over me, over my heart forever.
Right. Right. No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Mm-mm.
No, you don't get to do
Mm-mm.
that. No.
Nope. Yep.
That is so powerful. I mean, it is. It's powerful, that, and it's courageous,
Hmm. Thank you.
in order to do something
Mm-hmm.
like that, to take a step forward, even though the other person may not be ready to release it. For
Mm-hmm.
you to say, okay, I understand that's where you're at in your space, but me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I've done everything on my end to make amends or all those different things. So the rest is like, it's not all up to me. I can only do my part. And so that's what happens a lot of times, where whether it's forgiveness, whether it's people pleasing, whether it's like whatever it is that we are on the hook for, a lot of times we hang ourselves up there. Or if somebody places us on the hook, we forget that we have a permission to jump, like to get off. So what you
That is
might,
so
yeah,
true.
you might lose a couple of tracks, right? You might lose a few braids. Your
Yeah.
your blouse might get ripped, whatever coming off of that,
Uh-huh.
right? I don't.
Whatever is necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But you can get off of
You
that
can
hook.
get off
That
of
is so
it.
true.
So,
That is so true.
hmm and so let's talk. I just want to talk just a little bit about, like, you love decorating, and you also
Mhm.
you enjoy walking, and you enjoy boxing.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one
A
you?
lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I have watched you. I was really glad that I had an opportunity to come and see you. What's considered sparring? Is that what that's called?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't have any specific name
Okay.
for it. I just call it hitting the mitts.
Okay, we
Yeah.
hit the
I'm just
mitts.
gonna hit the mitts and just gonna box
Well,
it out. Yeah.
but it was amazing to watch you, and I was like, one thing for sure, I do not want to cross you on the street. Listen, you were not playing. You were
Yeah.
not playing. It was phenomenal and fascinating to watch you do it, and like you were giving it your all, and I could just feel it, and it wasn't even like, I don't know if you've ever watched videos of yourself doing it or anything like that, but to be there as a witness to it was quite incredible.
Yeah, boxing is just in in all in all, like it's in I don't even know how to describe it. Like, it allows me personally to escape
Mm-hmm.
and to really channel all of the energy or the frustration or whatever it is that I may have into the midst. So if I'm disappointed, if I'm scared, if I'm frustrated, whatever space that I'm in that day, nobody has to know. I'm just going to take it out on the midst. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hit, and I'm going to hit as hard as I can. And so that has been a huge outlet for me. I know a lot of people say it keeps you in shape, and yeah, it does. And I do reap the benefits of that, and I'm very happy about that. But more than anything, it brings a sense of peace and gives some sort of outlet
Mm-hmm.
for me
Mm-hmm.
personally.
I can
Yeah,
see that. I can see that. Um, so it's not just physical conditioning, it's also conditioning of the
correct.
mind and like that
Correct.
mental and emotional
Emotional,
space. Yeah.
spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it gets me to a place where I am centered,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I leave and you feel like you just left literally everything at the gym because you did.
Mm-hmm.
You literally did. You're gonna go home exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a process. I've been doing that for um 5 years. This may be going on 6 years now. And so I did not hit like that in the beginning. I tell you,
That's okay.
he was no, it took some practice.
We all start somewhere, right?
Yeah, a lot of times I'd be left laying in the ring, and he's like, "You okay? You want me to help you up? Just give me a minute." I'd say, "Just give me a minute. Go on to your next client. I'm gonna sit here a minute. I just need a minute." Woo.
Yeah, take that minute, girl. So you let yourself off the hook from having to get up right now. Listen, I'm
Oh
not getting
yeah,
up right now. The decision is made. I'm just
yeah,
gonna lie here.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and not for 30 seconds, because he's got this whole, and he and I kind of go back and forth, my trainer and myself kind of go back and forth about his rest break. Like, his length of rest break is 30 seconds, and he thinks you're supposed to be ready after 30 seconds to move on to the next thing. And so he and I go back and forth, and I'm like, what am I going to do with 30 seconds? Like, no, I need 10 to 15 minutes. And he's like, no, I need an hour. Just come back in an hour. He's trying to take me out. Yeah. So that's our little thing, because we're always bickering back and forth about that. He's like, 30 seconds and we're back in. I'm like, what? Who came up with that?
Oh boy, that's funny.
Yeah. But I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's been a journey, and I am so appreciative to him, and because he's been a huge part of the transformation. I don't even think he knows how. You know what? One day I'm going to express that to him, because I really don't think that he even knows
Hmm.
how big of a role he played in my transformation.
Mm. Yeah, I'm sure he'll appreciate hearing that. Because a lot of times, like,
Hmm.
I know for me, sometimes when I hear things like that, it comes at just the moment when I needed it. And I call them my God winks. Like, I see it as God winking at me, like, see, that's why you matter. That's exactly why
That's
you
why you
matter.
matter.
That's why I created you for moments like these. When you're making a
Just
difference.
keep going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
that whole keep going kind of
absolutely.
thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was cool. So I have just enjoyed hanging out with you as always, getting to play
It
with
is a
you.
pleasure. Yeah, it is a pleasure. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I am just so proud of you. I could go on and on about that, but you are doing amazing things. You are helping amazing people. You are blazing a trail for other women to step into their power and to follow their destiny. And so I am just so blessed that you and I met. Not only did we meet, but we were able to form a friendship that has now been a couple years in the
Yeah,
making.
yeah, it's been an
So that's a
amazing
huge
journey.
blessing.
I'm really
Yeah,
grateful for that. And
absolutely.
and you guys wait because Nicole and I is involved in a project that I've been working on, and so you'll actually get to experience seeing her hit the mitts as well as get a chance to
Yeah,
experience those amazing young
yeah.
people that she's raising over there, Cassidy and Camren. So listen out for a project that we have that we're working on that you'll get to see. And so, Nicole, what are you grateful for in this moment?
Breath, life,
Mm,
health, um, you know, my vision. I'm walking, I'm talking, a place to stay. I could go on and
mm-hmm.
on and on and on about it, but I am just so grateful
Yeah,
for life,
yeah.
you know.
And it's interesting because the first one you said is something that we often take for granted, which is breath.
Sure. Breath. Absolutely. I woke up this morning and that is a huge
Mm,
blessing. That means my journey is not done. I've got things to do and I'm grateful that he chose me to get up another day and do it.
yeah, breath. That's a really powerful one. And so,
Yeah.
how can listeners stay connected with you?
You can email me at nroberson, the number 2 at msn.com.
All right. So that's N as in Nicole Roberson,
Right.
Roberson, the number 2 at msn.com.
That is correct.
Yes. And so this is lovely. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm looking forward to experiencing more life with you and letting ourselves off the hook for some more things. And I want to leave you all with this quote: like, we want to believe that holding on makes us stronger. However, the greatest strengths are realized in our letting go. And that's a quote by
Mhm.
Melanie Foote-Davis.
Yes, it
Yeah.
sure is an amazing quote from an amazing author. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so tap into, like, just play with the possibility of what can happen on the other side of letting yourself off the hook. What's really available to you when you let yourself off the hook from something that you've been holding on to, trying to, feeling obligated to for some of you your entire life. Just imagine what's available on the other side. So thank you for joining us. And thank you to our amazing guest, Miss Nicole Roberson-King, for playing with me today in the She Chose Joy podcast. And I will see all of you on the next episode. Be well.